This is WWE superstar Drew McIntyre, and you're listening to the WWE Podcast.
The champ is
the one that everybody wants, me.
It's going to WrestleMania. Claymore!
Austin 316 says I just whipped your ass. This is my iron. You're going to acknowledge me.
What is going on, everybody? Back again with another main event review. Thank you very much for tuning into this week's episode. We're a week out from Crown Jewel, which will be held in my home country, Australia. Again, 3 hours away from where I live, so very far. And I say it every week that I bring this up. I'm shattered that I'm unable to attend due to the marathon that I'm running on Sunday. There is a Melbourne Marathon on the day after Crown Jewel. It's on a Saturday night. There's a 3 hour time difference, so there's no flights to get home after Crown Jewel, and too expensive to go for one night. But again, still shattered, but they are coming for a house show on the Wednesday, so I'll be able to see some superstars there. So that will be very exciting, but I was keen to sort of do a live main event and actually see that before Raw on Monday, but unfortunately not meant to be. But what we will be doing on this show is, because it is a upcoming PLE, we will preview the matches that are so far been booked for Crown Jewel. And I think at the moment there are 4 confirmed matches. So we'll be previewing them. I'm sure SmackDown and Raw will probably announce one more, or else there'll be some segments in between. But yeah, nothing has been confirmed besides the 4 matches as of yet. But as always, we'll start with the main event matches and go through a bit of the Raw segments as well before we get into the preview. So starting with Axiom taking on Johnny Gargano. Johnny Gargano gets the win here. Candice LeRae takes the mask off Axiom to give Johnny Gargano the opportunity to roll up Axiom for a 3 count. And yeah, don't really see the outcome of this when it comes to what they're doing on SmackDown at the moment. There's no opportunity for them to win the tag titles, given that the Wyatt Six has it, and they're currently feuding with the Street Profits at the moment, who are looking to split up. But again, was just another opportunity for these guys to be in a live crowd, because especially Johnny Gargano, he definitely deserves to be wrestling in front of a live crowd for sure, and it's hard to see him not getting any screen time on SmackDown. And it's the same case for Axiom as well, Thraxium as a whole, because there's nothing really for them. So the Raw transfer could be good for, I think, Thraxium especially, because yeah, no one's really going up for the World Tag Team Champions. So it just doesn't make sense for these guys to just stay on SmackDown and not do anything there when you've got the Judgment Day that's literally not defending the title. It's just something where I can see, yep, Axiom or Thraxium can go through, have a chance to battle. They need a babyface taking on that tag team. So maybe that would be the best case. But other than that, there is no sort of thing there. Unless, for the Raw Tag Team titles, if you have the Bronze killing it, just give them the belts. Like, why not? And make it more interesting with them having the belts and them taking on teams like the Usos and eventually dropping it for a bit. Because we need to see the belts on TV. We don't see them. We haven't seen them in like 3-4 months. And it's just really frustrating to see titles that are not getting defended. Like, we already see that with the Women's United States title, and we're also seeing it with the World Tag Team titles. It's frustrating, and it really depends on who's holding the title. I think it's very important, and how many superstars are available to defend it. And on Raw, there is just no tag teams, and we've got Thraxium and Gargano getting on, and DIY getting on main events because they can't do anything on SmackDown. So just something that I picked up and I would love to see sort of change. Like, finally, like we talk about it every week when we see one half of a tag team go up in a singles match and we're thinking, what are they doing with them? So this is another example of that. It continues on my rant on this, and it will continue on every time I see one half of a tag team or even a tag team go up on main event as well. We then move on to Raw with Rhea Ripley coming out and basically calling out the Kabuki Warriors for what they did to Io Sky. Io Sky comes out, basically says that Rhea was right, but the Kabuki Warriors are her family and she still loves them. That's where Asuka basically went on the screen, and it was a really good, produced promo, especially given that they had the subtitle in Japanese, which helped, but also mixing in the English as well, which it was really cool. When basically Asuka was mentioning that she taught everything Io knew, told her to basically come back to the family and be like Kairi Sane, and all she had to do was basically say sorry, which is never going to happen. So that leads to obviously Rhea Ripley getting upset and then basically saying to Io Sky, you can't go back to them, I've been abandoned before. And that gave Io Sky leaving the ring, caused her to leave the ring and say that she needs time to think. And that's when the Kabuki Warriors came out and ambushed Rhea Ripley. Then Io Sky had no choice but to come into the ring and pretty much defend Rhea. She tried to obviously hold them back, and that's where Kairi Sane was in the middle, went on her knees. And as she was on her knees, Asuka turned around and gave Io Sky the mist. They attacked the two of them and basically, left the ring there. We then had the backstage promo with Kairi trying to tell Io she still has time to join the family. Gave her a cutout picture of them together. And then that's when Io Sky came in. Rhea Ripley came in the next cutout saying that if she was okay and whatnot, and saying that she shouldn't trust the Kabuki Warriors. Then Io Sky basically said that she was right. And that leads to the eventual match that we have at Crown Jewel, which is Io Sky and Rhea Ripley taking on the Kabuki Warriors. And I can essentially start with previewing this one as we've gone straight into it. It's obviously an opportunity for Rhea Ripley to perform in her hometown or in her home country in Australia. She is from Adelaide, but obviously not far from Perth. That gives her an opportunity to fight there. That's probably why they've had the match to begin with. And for that alone, I will give Io Sky and Rhea Ripley the win here as a prediction. I don't think they're going to drop a match on Rhea's home country. And Io Sky and Rhea Ripley are massive superstars. So I don't see them losing to the Kabuki Warriors. However, I don't see this ending. If the Kabuki Warriors miraculously win, it will be because Io Sky did something to sort of make that happen. And there could be an ongoing feud where Rhea's trying to get Io back out of the family and Asuka's controlling her, and then that's the payoff will be Io Sky and Asuka taking on each other. But I don't think they're going to go that technical in this storyline, so I'm going to give Rhea Ripley and Io Sky the victory for this one in a match that I think will be very interesting. I don't know how it will be. I can imagine Io Sky being more shy and reluctant, and Rhea Ripley trying to just watch out for what Io Sky does, and also carrying the match too. We're obviously going to have Rhea take the hot tag, given that the crowd will go wild for her. She's honestly one of the biggest products we've ever had in wrestling from Australia, and I think it's going to be awesome to see her perform there. Hopefully she comes to the live show as well in Melbourne, but again, that will be very exciting to see her back. And I remember back in Elimination Chamber when she versed Nia Jax, and she got a massive reception there too, so should be really exciting. But yes, I expect them to win there. We then have the next match that we're going to tie up. Before that, obviously, the promo with Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins. And it's so true. These guys have had a history with each other. Again, dating back to when Cody Rhodes came back to WWE, and also the Hell in a Cell stuff that pretty much put Cody Rhodes over and what got him the sort of quarterback status. Cody Rhodes goes on to the fact that this just has to be, it could only be for the titles. It doesn't have to be so personal. They can obviously be friends at the back and look back on these moments and rivalries. But it's obviously getting to Seth Rollins' head, because he basically mentioned the reason why he was his Shield at WrestleMania was because he was the lesser of two evils. So they're obviously teasing the eventual feud we're going to have again with Roman and Seth, because that's certainly not over. And said that he never wanted to be his friend and he'll never shake his hand. And basically before that, actually, I forgot to mention that Cody Rhodes was getting into Seth Rollins' head and basically saying that if he had a say in Paul Heyman announcing Brock Lesnar at Clash in Paris, or in WrestlePalooza, when John Cena did take on Brock Lesnar there, and that's going to be interesting dynamic. Obviously, Paul Heyman had a big say in that. We saw what happened on SmackDown as well when Paul Heyman told Seth Rollins to not go in the ring. So there's a bit of tension when it comes to Paul Heyman and Seth Rollins. I think that will be squashed, and I think that they'll get on the same page for Survivor Series War Games if that does happen. I still think it will. I'm once again thinking that it's going to be CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, John Cena, Randy Orton, and either Roman Reigns or Jey Uso. We'll have to wait and see. That's my hot take, but again, we've got plenty of time till we talk about Survivor Series, but that's fast approaching, so this sort of teases that. But then after that, basically, Seth Rollins said that he has a vision, and it's going to be his in the future, and that he is the visionary revolutionary, and it's going to run through him. So I think when it comes to this match, there is really no reason for Cody Rhodes to win it. So I'm going to predict Seth Rollins, thinking that WWE will make the correct decision here, and it makes the most sense. Like, Seth Rollins is building a new faction with stars. He hasn't beat Cody Rhodes before, and this will do a lot more for Seth Rollins than it will for Cody Rhodes, I think. And it protects Cody as well, because I don't think Cody needs to win this clean. It might mean that Brock Lesnar could interfere the match. You don't know. I don't think he's going to come all the way to Australia. That would be cool if he did, but I don't think Australia's got the funds to bring someone like Brock Lesnar here just for a cameo appearance. But there could be a way where the match does have some sort of interference, but it will make Cody Rhodes not look as bad, and it will really do wonders for Seth Rollins. So that's why I think that Seth Rollins should get the victory here. But again, we'll have to obviously see what happens. If they do give it to Cody, then they might do a swing of Seth Rollins just getting into the head and causing a bit of friction between the vision and stuff. But I feel like it's too early to cut the vision off just yet or have tensions, because it's only realistically been going on for 6 months. And it seems like a long time, but at the same time, I don't think it's long enough for this storyline to grow. I think there's still so much they can get out of this storyline, even if it's the payoff being a WrestleMania clash potentially with Seth Rollins and Bron Breakker. Always envision like a similar situation with what happened with Batista when he won the Royal Rumble and took on Triple H. That could happen, but again, we think we know who the favorite of the Royal Rumble is going to be, and it's not him, it's Sami Zayn. But that's another conversation for another day. But yeah, I just don't think the vision should finish up now. I still think that there's a lot of potential in that group and in that sort of storyline. So yeah, we'll continue keeping tabs on that. We do have Crown Jewel coming up, and yeah, I think Seth Rollins, for the sake of the storyline, for the sake of how important this match is for Seth Rollins, gets the victory here finally. We then had the second main event match between OTM, guys from NXT. Can't say I know too much about them. They go by the name of Lucian Prince and Bronco Nima. They supposedly, according to the commentary, grew up from high school together and have won multiple titles across wrestling as a whole. I really need to enhance my wrestling knowledge across other promotions. I'm starting to get on Triple R more. And with the invasion, which they changed the name to the Showdown, between NXT and TNA coming up, it's a good opportunity for me to get into those other shows more. And even the local wrestling here in Melbourne, I'm starting to get across. So excuse me for not knowing who OTM are, but yeah, they take on the War Raiders, and the OTM, pretty powerful group. Nice spots during the match. It was obviously a typical choreographed tag team match where you had the heels overpowering one half of the War Raiders, this time being Eric, which Ivar looks to be the more over. He gets the hot tag eventually, and they do get a victory, but they don't get it through the War Machine, which was a surprise there. But I think this was just a showcase for the new NXT stars to get on the main show, and I think they did a really good job. It seems as though they're a heel group as well, so it's always good to see a heel group's battle from NXT into the main show, and I think, yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing to see. It looks like they've had experience across the board, so they're not, I guess, a young team, but I guess they're trying to put their sort of footprint into the main roster in WWE, and hopefully that can happen for them. Hopefully we do see them on main event, and yeah, keep tabs on their storyline moving forward. But this is a good thing. It's good to see some guys from NXT getting pushed over into the main roster. We've seen it a few times, and it's another good example of that. And yeah, it's a great showcase for them. For the War Raiders, again, we've seen them too many times compete for the tag team titles, so I don't think they're going to get another opportunity, unfortunately. But Ivar is always impressive in ring. It's always good to see someone of his size so athletic in there and just being the dominant force that he is when he goes in as well. So the War Raiders get another victory, and they're getting a pretty good hot streak on main events, so we're keeping tabs on that as always as well. And then we wrap up with the main event, the Tornado Tag Team match between the Vision and the Usos. The match was pretty good. The 6th spot with Bron Breakker jumping from the Timekeeper's area to Jimmy Uso through the table was quite impressive. And we had all the guys laid out to the floor, and Roman Reigns came into the ring. And the Vision were about to get a victory, so this was a good way to sort of protect them. We had Roman Reigns interfering in the match, which allowed for the dual splash on Bron Breakker, who took the pin, which was a surprise there. I've noticed that Bronson Reed is starting to get more pins, and Bron Breakker is getting pinned, which has been quite interesting actually. We know that Bron Breakker is the main star in this, but against the two, but they're really pushing Bronson Reed pretty highly, and they've done it again here with not letting him take the fall when Bron Breakker taking it. And it ended with Roman Reigns and Jey Uso just looking at each other, saying like how proud he is, and Roman Reigns G'ing him up, and you could see Jimmy Uso in the background just feeling a bit uncomfortable with that, knowing that Jey is trying to become more like Roman, and that influence there. So that's a big factor, and I think in this future storyline. Will they make Jey turn heel? I don't know, but I think a character refresh for Jey Uso right now is needed. We can still get him doing the yeet as he battles with who he is and what he wants to be, and that's ultimately someone that wants to compete for world titles, and the only way that he sees fit at the moment, and is good for the storyline, is to be more like Roman Reigns, and what better example than someone that's held it for 1,400 and also days. So yeah, it's a good angle for the storyline. I don't think that Jey should turn heel, because you don't want to lose that crowd heat. And selfishly, I do want to yeet next week in the house show. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I don't think it will, but they are teasing it for sure. And Roman Reigns being added into the picture certainly entertains this and makes a lot of sense too, as Jey Uso has definitely been acting how Roman Reigns was when he was running the Bloodline all those years ago. So that pretty much concludes main event. We will preview the last two matches. It is the Women's Crown Jewel Championship match. We have Stephanie Vaquer taking on Tiffany Stratton in a face-versus-face battle. Again, this is just a match to determine who the best champion is, so there doesn't need to be a deep storyline here, just a good wrestling display. They're obviously going to tag up against Kiana James and Julia as the baby faces, so we might see a little bit of tension and disagreements, but they'll get the win. And I'm expecting a good match between the two. I think Tiffany Stratton gets the victory here. I know Stephanie Vaquer is probably the more technical wrestler, but Tiffany is just on such a hot run at the moment. She's undefeated this year, and she's been in the industry longer. Stephanie Vaquer is a new champion. I don't think it will affect her as much. I think that Tiffany Stratton gets the victory just based on that mirror. But to be honest, you could call it either way. I wouldn't be surprised if Stephanie Vaquer wins this one too. But it should be a very exciting match to watch. And then we have John Cena taking on AJ Styles, where I don't think it will be the main event, but you could make a case for it being the main event because of the nostalgia and the fact that I know it's a men's crown jewel champion, but it's not a real champion with a real storyline. So just seeing John Cena end the show with AJ Styles for a match that hopefully goes more than 5 minutes, unlike the squash that Brock Lesnar and John Cena had, but a nice 30 to 35 minute match, which I'm hoping it will be a spectacle. And whoever wins or loses, it doesn't matter. The fans chose AJ Styles to take on John Cena, and that's what we're getting, and that's what we're extremely excited for. No storyline, just a nostalgia act. And in this retirement tour, sometimes these acts are better than just even having a storyline. Like we did the storyline heels with CM Punk and Randy Orton trying to make it like it was a nostalgia act, but it most certainly was. So just to make it raw, authentic, have a match between the two, I do think that John Cena will win the match. And the reason why I say that is because I think he will battle with Dom Mysterio, and that will lead him to take on potentially the Intercontinental title. He won't win it, but I think that's what's going to happen. Everyone wants John Cena's last match to be against Edge, but I genuinely think that the last match is going to be against Gunther, and people might be upset about that, but we saw Gunther take on Goldberg at main event back in Atlanta a few months ago, And I think the same thing is going to happen here. Gunther is going to have this reputation, come back, take on John Cena, build his legacy of retiring superstars and being a powerhouse there. And that actually might lead to a potential Gunther and Brock Lesnar match, which we haven't seen in a long time. So if we see John Cena's last match getting squashed by Gunther, and then Brock Lesnar coming into the picture as Gunther and Brock Lesnar both squash John Cena, then it will be very captivating. And I think everyone has been waiting for a potential Brock Lesnar and Gunther battle. And that's something they can definitely tap into since Brock Lesnar is most definitely back. So that could be it. We all want to see Edge do it. I know, I do too. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't want that. I'm just trying to be realistic. And I think the most realistically thing at the moment is seeing Gunther return and take on John Cena as the final match. But that's my opinion. That's just a prediction. If I'm wrong, I'm happy with it. So that pretty much concludes the main event Crown Jewel preview as well. So thank you very much for tuning into this episode. And I will catch you guys next week, where we'll be reviewing what happened at Crown Jewel, and hopefully we get some more matches on the card to review as well. But yeah, it's been your boy Daniel, and I'll catch you next week. Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the WWE Podcast. Don't forget to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you don't miss a show, or head to WWEpodcast.com. And for all of these shows ad-free, head over to patreon.com/WWE Podcast. Until then, we'll see you next time.